Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Grabowski and I am from Syracuse, New York. Right now I'm just finishing up my long-term kindergarten placement as a substitute, and in the fall I'm going to be starting my first year of teaching as a first grade teacher. I'm very excited about it. For my research project, I looked into personal digital inquiry, more specifically, how promoting hands-on literacy projects based on students' interest can really help to develop higher engagement levels because it involves student interest and they become more passionate about their learning. So before we looked into what a PDI is, or um, personal digital inquiry, it was important to really see why this was a need in the classroom. So a struggle that many educators are facing in the classroom is student engagement while learning content and curriculum. So, students may not see benefits to the material they are learning and they may become disengaged or quote unquote bored. So, this is something that we would like to change so that when students are more engaged, there is a success correlation in academics. So, a study conducted by Yang and other researchers looked into students that were ages 9 through 13 years old. So they were either fourth, fifth, or sixth grade students. Throughout the study, they found that when a student had a teacher who was more providing with choice, or they built curriculum around student interest, and they understood what was needed to foster students who were engaged, so they tailored to different learning styles, there was more academic success. And it was because students understood what they were learning and they were also interested in what they were learning. So, it is important to adapt to different learning styles and interests in order to get that high levels of engagement and high levels of academic success. This then leads into what is PDI. So, PDI is personal digital inquiry, and it typically revolves around a large or big idea that a student is interested in. So, when you're looking at this, it is broken down into four different parts. So, if you look at the picture that's on this slide, it is broken down into wonder and discover. So, this is when a student really picks that topic that is super interesting to them and something that they're wondering about. It then leads into a collaboration section and discussion where the student can work with a partner, or they can just work by themselves, and you're kind of just hashing out what that topic is and you're working on different logistics of it. Then this leads into when you start to create and actually take action on your research. So this can be looking into those different multimodal developments that you can have where you can include like QR codes in your learning, or you're really just understanding how you would like to convey the message of the topic that you've learned. And then this looks into next the analyze and reflect. So overall, this format really helps to make learning more relevant to students because they're really deep diving into a topic that is important to them while also utilizing those new literacies such as print or multimodal digital tools to help allocate their learning that they have found throughout this investigation. So this is a video that I found. I'm not going to play it, but I am going to include the link in my discussion. It's really important because it shows the impacts of this digital hands-on learning, and shows how it is improving growth and academic success. So then, after we know now what a PDI is, and we see that there is a need for it in the classroom because it's important to engage students based on interest to promote higher levels of academic success, I wanted to talk about a time where this is a real life story of PDI being impactful. So, this is Theo, and when Theo and his dad were in the car, they were listening to NPR, and his dad decided to turn it up because it was all about birds. And this was something that was very interesting to Theo. So it was all about how birds were being impacted by climate change. And this was very impactful and eye-opening to Theo. And he saw this big problem in question and he wanted to do something about it and turn it into some civic action. So that's a main point of PDI that's important. Students are finding an idea, something of interest, and then they're making action for it. So Theo designed this garden where he drew illustrations of these birds and he attached this QR code with a voiceover talking about why what's being impacted, what is happening, and what is being the big problem with climate change. So this took Theo's learning style of audio learning and it put it into something that he was interested in. So he was really eager to find out information for this topic. The outcome of this was that it was a very creative space for Theo to share his thoughts with his peers and share with the whole community about this overall problem while using digital features such as QR codes, along with some more print literacy features such as designing like illustrations and using text to talk about what he was doing. So overall, as seen with Theo, this project and PDI as a whole is just very important because it highlights different interests, different learning styles, different backgrounds, and it just promotes diversity seen within students. So when a student designs their project, it will be unique to them, and it will be something that they actually want to keep learning about, and they see the real life application to their project, which promotes this engagement. So allowing these different ideas to be spread across the classroom really helps build a positive classroom environment, recognizing interests, backgrounds, and diversity. And from here, Ubuntu is developed, which is the saying, I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am. This develops a great sense of community in the classroom where students are free to share their thoughts, share their ideas, and it also promotes um, a lot of different new literacy models within this form. And then lastly, it helps to develop relationships between personally by really picking a topic that speaks to them and improving their academics because they're utilizing all these skills, but in something that's meaningful. And then its digital relationship between the student improves because they're using these different multimodal activities, such as in Theo's instance, QR codes to explain and deliver what their learning is. And then lastly, it helps to develop this inquiry-based learning, which uses all of these different multimodal platforms and develops this exploration where students are deep diving into a topic that they're passionate about, and it really brings that excitement and overall understanding and learning back into the classroom that students are excited about. So I think that PDI is amazing, and that after this research, I think that it shows strong correlation to increased academic success, and students are using all these different new literacy concepts that will help them thrive after school and in the real world. Thank you. And here are my references.